Magogonites, welcome. I have had multiple requests to cover a certain person on the YouTubies, and I've finally gotten around to watching some of his content. I'm not gonna lie, this guy is a fucking crazy person, so I feel like I'm gonna need a little help with this one. Hey, Mirror!
Yes, my lord?
Open a magic connection with someone who can help me take down this special snowflake of a man.
Does my lord have any preferences?
I don't know. Someone evil.
Undoomed, my lord?
No, not this time. His voice makes angels cry. It's fucking creepy.
Omegon, my lord.
I'm not really feeling seafood.
What about Lord Bear?
Too irate.
My lord, just tell me what you want to have.
Someone with a hat. I like hats.
Very good, my lord.
Wait, what the fuck?
That's Daddy's awkward. No.
God damn it, Magog! You fucking cockholster!
You are not the victim here, squirrel nuts.
Hogwarts reject?
Bitch.
Butt serpent?
Pole smoker.
Cock knocker?
Cunt sickle.
Fucking silly shoes?
Hey, Willy Wonka, don't make me kick your fucking ass.
Don't make me suck your dick!
What?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, I got carried away.
Yes. And you have a little something. Right here. Not so much here. Or here. Right here.
I was busy jerking the gherkin and you summoned me. This better be good.
Oh, it is good, not logicked. Today we have Steve Shives.
Them good old boys might not have meant any harm, but unfortunately, intention isn't everything.
I find it very funny that he thinks that disagreeing with somebody or offending them is the same thing as harming them. People disagree with me all the time. Do I feel like they harm me? Hell no. What the hell?
Here are 5 harmful things about the Dukes of Hazzard.
I hate this guy's face. Harmful things? Are you kidding me? It's an old television show. Harmful. You should do a list on 5 harmful things about guns. They can have 5 harmful bullets in them. Sometimes even more. I love it. I want one!
Number 1, it prominently featured Confederate imagery.
So?
Even more than John Schneider and Tom Wopat, or Catherine Bach and her denim cutoffs, the star of the Dukes of Hazzard was the Duke's 1969 Dodge Charger, nicknamed the General Lee, with a Confederate flag, the flag of the army that fought to defend slavery in the American Civil War, painted on the roof.
There was an interesting article that I read that will be linked in the description box that tells you exactly why that war was fought. It was over 10 reasons, and yes, slavery was one of them, but it wasn't the main reason. That flag has barely anything to do with slavery whatsoever. That flag to a lot of people represents Southern pride and nothing else. It has nothing to do with slavery. Keep in mind, the American flag flew over a slave nation for 100 years. The Confederate flag only flew over a slave nation for 4 years. By comparison, the American flag is 25 times more of a slave flag than the Confederate flag is.
You make a valid point, not logic. I mean, Mr. Dapperton. Every flag has a history. Every nation with a flag has something horrible in its past, and that flag flies over that nation. History is a horrible place.
You can't watch an episode of the show without seeing that flag all over the place, which is the main reason why now, for the most part, you can't watch an episode of the show.
Yes, let's ban a piece of history, the show, and the flag itself because it just might offend somebody. What the hell? I mean, what is that even supposed to mean? Oh, my feelings are hurt. I don't give a shit if your feelings are hurt. What, I'm supposed to lose freaking freedoms because your feelings might be hurt? Fuck you.
But the General Lee with its rebel flag roof is just the beginning. Number 2, it depicted a romanticized South.
And what exactly is wrong with that? Listen, every region of the world has its bad things. But romanticizing a place for its good things isn't entirely bad. The South has its charm. Nothing wrong with that, you fucking goblin.
It's easy to see why the Dukes of Hazzard was so popular. It's an affectionate celebration of the American South and its cherished traditions, which is affable and non-threatening enough for Yankees to enjoy too. In the show, there is no injustice that can't be overcome by a fast car and a bit of farm boy ingenuity. The local authorities are corrupt, but they're also easily thwarted buffoons who never do any real harm.
It's a fucking TV show. What's the big deal? Why was it even cancelled? Why can't people, not watch it if they're offended so easily by a car with a flag on it?
Most everybody is dirt poor, yet they still lead lives of breathless adventure, and there's no racism to speak of. And there's no racism to speak of. You can't watch an episode of the show. And there's no racism to speak of. You can't watch an episode of the show.
So let me get this straight. The show's not racist, but it's not being shown anymore simply because of the Confederate flag, even though it's not being shown in a racist context at all. You are a big piece of crap for thinking this is acceptable.
No racism, racism everywhere. Obviously, they're the same fucking thing to these people.
Mostly because there are almost no black folks to speak of.
Look, the story's focused on the rural South. The rural South had mostly white people. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of black people in the South in the city, but in the rural South, there was a lot of white folk, and that's just how it was. And that's the story was accurate in that way. What, because they don't freaking force a bunch of black people into the story that don't belong there? What, suddenly it's racist? It's like what you're telling us is that we can't have a story about a white family that focuses on that white family. We got to throw in a black family in that show too. Well, but that has nothing to do with the story that they're trying to tell. All that shit does is just destroy the story.
Steve Shives and his ilk only care about skin representation. They don't care about story, or characters, or depth. Which is quite strange. Because he's a fucking white male.
Number 3, it whitewashed the Deep South. While it wasn't unusual for American network television shows in the 1970s and 80s to feature few or no black performers, that lack of diversity is particularly glaring on a show set in a region of the country with a long history of sometimes violent racial inequality and centered on a pair of heroic white country boys who race around the county in the aforementioned General Lee.
Those Duke boys be hanging black people, don't they? No! It's just a TV show, Steve. It's harmless entertainment. And the people who watch the Dukes, they don't watch your show with your stupid stuffed animals. And they don't buy into your narrow-minded view of reality, you fucking social justice goblin.
The problem wasn't lost on the show's creator, Guy Waldron, who tried to compensate by casting black guest stars as authority figures, including as the sheriff of a neighboring county.
There were black authority figures in the show? But how is that possible? Let me guess. Somehow, it's still racist. You fucking shit for brains.
But even so, the scarcity of black faces in a series set in rural Georgia, where that fucking car is practically the lead protagonist, is a little tough to just shrug off.
Look, again, the show is based in the rural South. The rural South didn't really have black people, but they hand-fisted black people into the show and forced them into the show anyways, and guess what? The social justice warriors still were mad and still ended up banning the show, basically. So, yeah, what's the moral of the story? Don't try to please a social justice warrior. There is no way. They're going to be pissed about everything, no matter what you do.
Mr. Dapperton is right. There's just no pleasing these people. Oh, the car has a paint job I don't like. It's so hard to shrug off. It's not hard at all. Decide not to be bothered by it and change the fucking channel.
Number 4, it reinforced right-wing anti-government narratives. In the late 70s and early 80s, the Republican Party was shifting its message to attract more working-class voters by appealing to tradition, low-key white supremacy, and resentment of the government.
Don't forget, boys and girls, traditional values are racist. Don't ask me how that works, because I really have no idea. Oh, and it doesn't surprise me at all, that Steve Shives hates conservative values, because that guy is allergic to freedom.
Though it almost certainly wasn't intentional on the part of the show's creators, the Dukes of Hazzard provided this new American conservatism with its ideal mascots in the Dukes, who rebelled against crooked government officials and embodied rugged individualism.
The fuck is wrong with that? There's not much wrong with individualism. Where I'm standing, your country could use a little of it. We're not ever going to be part of your hive mind, Steve. You whiny motherfucker.
In the pilot episode, Bo tells his girlfriend that Uncle Jesse would rather starve than accept government assistance. Now there's a real American.
Actually, yes. That is a good and proper American. You know, there is a sense of pride about doing things your own way, working hard and making something of yourself. Some people don't want a handout. Some people are uncomfortable with suckling on the teat of the common taxpayer.
Well, stealing people's money using the violence of government is an act of aggression. He's just being a pacifist. Nothing wrong with that.
Number 5, it encouraged people to minimize casual racism. You won't find any willful bigotry on the Dukes of Hazzard. Even that flag was intended to represent Southern pride.
Do you hear that? The television show has microaggressions. There is no pleasing these people. They will find a way to make everyone a racist and a bigot.
It's the same heritage, not hate line of horseshit that people still try to sell today. But just because the racism wasn't intentional doesn't mean that we shouldn't notice it. If instead of this, the roof of the Duke's car looked like this, we'd recognize the problem immediately. Well, most of us would anyway.
Context is everything. If it's not intentional, then you don't have an argument. People like Steve Shives must hate themselves so much that they want everyone around them to be just as miserable as they are. The self-loathing bastard.
But this, we view this as different somehow. Because this has been normalized, even to those of us who detest it. And it wasn't hate-spewing, cross-burning racists who normalized it. It was folks like Bo and Luke. Just good old boys. Wouldn't change if they could.
But it's not a symbol of hate. You just think everything's racist. You just think everything's racist.
The hardest part is picking only 5. Catch you next time.
No, the hardest part was watching your show and staring at your ugly goblin face as you tear down a beloved piece of television entertainment. All because of racism, but not really because it's unintentional, but definitely racism. I hate you. Well, that's it, not logic. What do you have to say?
Thanks, Magog. Can I go back to masturbating now?
Of course. I wouldn't dream of interrupting you again. I would like to thank Mr. Dapperton for dropping by and helping me out with Steve Shives. The man is pure hate, wrapped in a goblin meat suit, and I needed help with such a creature. Everyone, if you're not subscribed to Mr. Dapperton, his link is below.
Shall I get logicked, my lord? Perhaps he would have some final words?
A good idea, Mira. Let's hope he's not jerking it too. That'd be way too much masturbation humor for one episode, don't you think?
Of course, my lord.
Thank you all for watching, my dearest Magogonites. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And please feel free to visit the store again. There are new designs up. T-shirts, hoodies, and even a coffee mug featuring the coat of arms of yours truly. And keep in mind there are more designs coming in the future. Some more highly requested designs coming soon. Stay tuned for a final word from Logic. And I'll see you next time.
Hello, guys. I'm Logic. Wait, no, Mr. Dapperton. No! Oh! You son of a bitch. Stop being better than me.
Yeah.